So in this video we're going to talk a bit about shoes, pedals and cleats. And shoes in particular are something that I think triathletes just don't give enough mind share to. I think there's a tendency to go out and buy, because shoes can be expensive, the cheapest pair of shoes, whatever will do. But the reality is the more you spend on the shoes, generally the better the quality and the longer they'll last. So the sort of things that I'm looking for, number one, is I would recommend that you look for something that has a carbon base. And not just a carbon base, but whereby the eyelets, so this is what we actually screw the cleat into, the eyelets are actually drilled and set into the base of the shoe. What I tend to find here is that there's less chance for the cleat to move around. And this is a common problem that I see, that cleats have moved, people aren't aware that the cleats have moved, and then they get lower limb injuries. So it's important also that you do check your cleat position on a regular basis, and through the video series I'll show you how to best set up your cleats for the majority of the population. So again, carbon sole I think is very important. Now, also the type of pedals and cleats that you go with. When you're buying a new bike, it doesn't come with any pedals. You get to choose at this stage which pedals you're going to be putting on. So in conjunction with cleat and pedal type and with the shoes, what I'm looking for is, again in relation to the shoe, I'm looking for the position that I can bring the cleat into. Now, I'll show you here two shoes that are the same size, but what you'll notice is that the cleat can be brought back a lot further on this shoe on my right hand side than the one on the left. Now, these are both my pairs of shoes. I use these on my road bike. And if I ride this shoe for up to 3 hours, I get a thing called hot foot. So I get a burning sensation in my foot and my toes start to go numb. Whereas if I ride this shoe with this cleat, then the cleat comes further back, I can ride this all day. So it's important to me that we're able to bring the cleat back on the shoe. The other thing I tend to find is that the smaller the cleat, the more hot spotting we get. Now, if you're riding in the city a lot and you're clipping in and out, this is something you probably won't notice until race day. Because on race day, you're going to clip in once and you're going to clip out once. But whilst you're training, you might be stopping for traffic lights, you might be stopping for roundabouts, etc., etc., etc. And this sort of thing, the hot foot might not be something that you're experiencing. If we look at these shoes here, again, these are carbon-based shoes. These are actually a specialised tri-vent. Both of these pairs are tri-vent, specialised tri-vent. This is what's called the Expert, and this is the S-Works. It really doesn't matter to me which shoe it is. But you can see here that the cleat really does come back on the shoe. And what I've used here is a Keywin cleat. So I'll say that again, it's a Keywin cleat. And if we look at the Keywin pedals, and these are the shoes that I wear and the pedals that I use on my time trial bike, these come right underneath us. So what I tend to find is, number one, we don't get issues with hot foot. So there's no burning sensation in the foot. There's no numbness of the toes, but there's also a huge distribution of the load. We're not having a hot spot on the shoe. It's distributed through the pedal and through the shoe. And I believe we want to have that cleat underneath us so that we're pushing down rather than flexing the foot. When we flex the foot, we're engaging the calf. And we really don't want to be using that until we run. So again, this is just my theory. I think we're going to see down the track midfoot cleat placement. This is as close as we get with a standard pedal. These Keywin pedals, depending on whether you buy the titanium or just the standard model, the pedals and cleats is about $185. So it's not a huge investment. A pair of shoes like this with a carbon base, and again, I'm going to reference the specialised tri-vent here. I paid $300 for these shoes. And these shoes will probably last me 2 or 3 years. It's important, as I said, that you look at your shoes on a regular basis, regardless of the cleats you have on there, and just flip them over and just check the cleat position. But when you're next going to buy a pair of shoes, look for something with a carbon base. Look for something where we have the eyelets drilled directly into the base rather than a plate that moves around, number two. And I would do a comparison of where we can bring the cleat to. Pick the shoes up in the shop Where can that cleat come back to? The further, in my opinion, the further it comes back, the better. It will alleviate some of the pain that we get through the foot, and it will also give you some more power. So just some things to think about before you go and buy the shoes. You know, don't go and spend $80 on a pair of shoes. They're not going to last you very long at all, and you're more likely to have foot problems. Spend a bit of extra money, get a good pair of shoes. They'll last you a lot longer. They'll serve you a lot better.